Okay guys, this is our first Dreamweaver YouTube video clip to help you guys along. Alright, so the first time you open up Dreamweaver, alright, it should be down here in your taskbar. I've had them put it in your taskbars, so you should be able to locate it here. It's the little DW. If not, if you can't find it in there, just go down here in your programs, and if you scroll around in your programs, all my apps, you should be able to find it under your Adobe Dreamweaver CC217. Okay, so once you have it open, all right, I've already opened up mine, so I can't make it look like it'll open up for the very first time. But when you open it up for the very first time, when you click on the icon, it will prompt you to be in a developer workspace or a standard workspace. You want to be in a standard workspace. When you open it up for the first time, it will look something like this. You'll just probably have a blank page. All right, let's just quickly run through what all of this stuff is. Okay, so this is going to be my design window, my main design window. Over here, we've got a whole bunch of different files. Okay, my insert tab, the ones you'll be dealing with mostly are the insert tab and the files tab. Okay, you probably won't be dealing with CC libraries or the CC designer. Those are for more advanced options. Okay, so things you need to know are through the insert tab. All right, in this insert tab, I can insert different elements into my web page. I can insert a new paragraph, I can insert a heading, I can insert a table, a figure, ordered list, unordered list, and so on and so forth. Most of the things that you guys will be dealing with in Dreamweaver will be inserting an image, deciding a header, and if I click on here, I can see all my different sizes of headers. Okay, so you'll be deciding a header, and all the time you'll be asked to create a table. So if I want to insert a table into my website, that's where I'll be clicking on. Okay, so that is one of the... Oops. Hold on, guys. I just got to pause for a sec because somebody just came home. All right. Okay, guys. Sorry, I'm back. All right. So yes, your insert tab, like I said, heading, table is the most common one. You're going to use that in every single test. Header as well. You absolutely use image. You'll use as well to insert images from the files that'll build your website. Okay, so your Files tab, when you click on that, you can see all the files that you'll be working with for your website when you build it. Okay, and I'll show you guys how you get that. And when I see this here, when I see all of these files here, that means I've done everything correctly so far, and I can start building my website. Okay, so before we even start going with Dreamweaver, like I said, once you open it, you'll probably have a page something like this, okay? The first thing you will do is, before we even get to this, I'll show you what you have to do, okay? You got to make sure that your files for the test or files for building your website are in one location, okay? So I'm just imagining that I'm writing the IGCSE test. I've been given the files, and they are usually placed on the desktop. Usually Benoit and Matthew will pre-install the files on the desktop, so you guys don't have to download anything from a thumb drive. You can't use the internet during the test because these computers will all be disabled for the internet. The only thing they'll be set up to do is to print. Okay, so anything else, any interactive network connectivity will be disabled. So Matthew and Benoit will have the folders set up. Usually they are on the desktop, something like this. Okay, so I'll imagine I come into my test, I see this folder here. It says Test Dreamweaver. It'll probably say something else, something a little bit more official, like IGCSE _ file, whatever. Okay, so it'll be there. Okay, so I will open up Dreamweaver, like I said. When you guys open it up for the first time, it'll probably prompt you to go through developer, workstation, or standard. Okay, so you'll select standard. it'll probably open up to a window like this, something blank. You guys might have, by default, I think the background color is black. Don't worry. If it's black or gray, doesn't matter at all. I just have mine for white because it's easy for me to see. And here, yep, you'll see all your different sort of tabs to build your website. Okay, the first thing that I want to do, very first thing that I'm going to do when I start building my website is I am going to go to Site, okay? And I'm going to go to New Site. So I'm going to go to Site, New Site, all right? Then, in here, I'm going to find the files that I need for my test. Okay, so in here, okay, if I go to this PC, I know the files I want are on my desktop, so I'm going to click on Desktop. Okay, and I'm going to imagine that, yep, it's in here. So these are the files that have been I'm going to imagine for the test purposes, files have been previously installed, and they're here, and I would click on that file there, okay? Don't worry, you can't see anything in there, that's cool, okay? Then I would select Folder, okay? Now, I want to give my site a name, okay? So just give it anything you want for the purposes of this. What we're going to be doing, our website is going to be called B2N. As you'll see on the test, the website is called B2N, so I'm just going to give it that name. This is very important, okay? The test prompts you to do a lot of things, but it does not prompt you to do this. You have to know to do this even before you start building your website, even before the test starts. So don't forget, we go to Site. Okay, I'm just going to cancel this. We go to Site, New Site, locate my folders where they are on the desktop, give the site name an appropriate name, then click Save, okay? Once we do that, once we do that, I will show you guys what will happen. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, this is a website that I've created, actually. This is the step-by-step test, past test paper that we're going to be doing in class that I've already pre-created. But I will show you guys. Okay, once you do that, you will see here all of the files that you will need to use for the test, okay? Once you see all of these files here, okay, and you compare them with what the files you'll need for the test, you'll know, okay, I'm on the right step because already I've got all of these files here. This looks great. I'm ready to go. And, yep, the folder you will create, the folder that will be on the desktop will appear up here, and I know that I'm good to go, okay? Now, the first thing that the test will ask you to do is it will either ask you to, probably one of the first tasks, is that they'll either ask you to access a pre-existing HTML file that you've downloaded, or you're going to create a new one, all right? Let me show you what happens when you create a new one. So imagine it's the test and they say, okay, create a new file called newfile.html. So I'll go to File, New, and they want me to create an HTML file. So I'll click on New, okay? Then I'll click Create, all right? And you will see something like this, okay? So now I've created a new file, an HTML file. It is as yet untitled, okay? But I can already see HTML code in here. Okay, the nice thing about Dreamweaver is that it sort of pre-installs some existing code for you that you need to create a real website. Okay, so pre-existing code, of course, HTML. Got the start there, and I've got the end there. HTML tells me, or tells a website to view all of this code as a website and not as text, all right? Don't forget, HTML files, they are what's known as a generic file format. Generic file formats are files that all sorts of different types of programs can work with and that no one company owns. They're designed in that way so that we can create programs, all right? So, and that they don't cost a lot of money for people that just want to learn. So HTML files can be opened by not just Dreamweaver, but Microsoft Front Page, any sort of Apple product that creates websites, okay? And CSS files also that we'll be using. We can see a CSS file here. I'll tell you guys what that is once we start creating our website, okay? That's further on down the road, but just know for now that a .css file also is a generic file format. Okay, so now what I've got here is I've got what I'm going to create here. I'm going to start I can write stuff in here, okay? I can start writing all my code in here that I want, start doing my instructions, and as you can see, okay, I've got, so I typed that J in here and it appeared in the body, okay? One quick thing, okay? Anything that you guys do, anything that you want it to actually physically, visibly appear on your website has to be done between these two tags. Anything you want to visibly show on your website has to be between these two body tags. So this body tag right here, that shows me that it's the start of anything visible in my website. And this / body tag shows me that this is the end of anything that I want visible in my website. Okay, so anything that is going to be visible is going to be in between these two tags. And I'll show you the tricky thing that happens when you start adding things like a table, pictures, all that stuff. Why that flashing cursor there has to be within the body if you want it to see stuff in your website, okay? Now, once we are up and running, okay, once we've done all those steps that I've told you to do, okay, we want to make sure that we are in a certain view, okay? We want to be in design view, okay? I'm not sure by default when you open Dreamweaver for the first time which view they give you, but you definitely want to be in design view, okay? So when you're opening up Dreamweaver for the first time, click design. Live means that it is a website that's already being viewed, it's already a website that's in production. Don't worry, you're not going to be working with live view. You will always be working with design. And the nice thing about Dreamweaver is that once you select something in Dreamweaver, every time I open up Dreamweaver, even if I close it, it will, by default, open up whatever it is that I've been working on the last time, or keep all of my previous settings as defaults when I close Dreamweaver. Okay, so first thing we'll do is we'll go to View Mode, make sure that you have Design selected. Okay, the next thing you want to do is make sure that you have this split screen. Okay, by default, once again, I don't think they offer you a split screen, but you'll need to have this split screen, and it'll become evident why you want a split screen as we start working through Dreamweaver. All right, so we want to then go to View, Split, and make sure that you have Code Design selected for the split screen. I have mine split horizontally, Design View on top. That's the way I'll be working in class. I just find that easier. Okay, you guys will probably find the same thing as well. Okay, once I have that selected, I can see up here that my split design is chosen, my split view design is chosen, and I can actually now start working on my website. Okay, those are the base. Oh, one last thing. So now that I've got, okay, if they actually ask you to create a new HTML file, okay, I want to make sure that I save that before I do anything else. In other words, before I start adding tables or documents or folders, I want to save it. Okay, so if I click on Save, it'll prompt me to do this. By default, okay, it's going to save my work within the file, within the folder that I have all of my HTML folders, which is great. So if I were to, if they asked me to create a new HTML file, I would do that. They might prompt me to give it a certain name. If they don't, just give it a name that is appropriate, that you remember what it is that you're doing, okay? And then you hit Save. I'm just going to cancel this because I don't need it, and I don't want to screw up Dreamweaver any more than I have to. Okay, so yeah, next recordings we're going to start working through it, and we will actually start the past paper. Okay, talk to you soon, guys. Bye.